What it do? It's your favorite Texas boy, and we back with another video. If you're new to the channel, please go to the past, like, subscribe, comment, check out all the former content. The past content was amazing, showing the island, food, restaurant reviews, where to go, where not to go, all the different things about Puerto Rico. But if you've been here with me, let's ride to the next subject. Now, most of my content in Puerto Rico has been very positive, and it's going to continue to be positive. It's just today we're going to talk about something a little different, and what I think, in my personal opinion, are 3 disadvantages that come with moving to Puerto Rico. There are a lot of advantages, but on the other side, there are still a couple of disadvantages. And I'm gonna go through the ones that I find personal to me, in a sense, sort of. So let's kind of get right to it. So the first disadvantage I think that I've noticed for people who move to Puerto Rico is social length, like social construct length. I was just explaining and talking to my friend the other day. Relationships out here, as far as like interactions with people, you meet a lot of people, but you really only know them for 4 days. I don't think there's, in the past year, outside of like people that I've met who live on the island, but then that's a whole different type of short-term construct as well. But you know, I haven't met anybody longer than 4 days out here. Everybody comes here. It's like I say, have you heard in my other videos, this is a bona fide vacation spot. So people come here pretty much for one thing only, 3 to 4 days, 5 days max. So people that I meet here, all of the relationships are very short-lived. And that's very interesting, because I was talking to my best friend back home, one of my best friends back home, Sai. What up, boy? And, you know, he was just having a conversation with me about how he's had his neighbor for 8 years. He never has to reintroduce himself. It's only talking about the new things that are happening in his life. Whereas me, every 4 days, I'm reintroducing myself. I'm re-explaining myself. I'm re-giving the story to somebody who's out in the midst, because I do throw parties, I promote, I do things of that nature. So the question is always asked, hey, well, why'd you move from Texas? What's going on down here? What are the good things? What are the bad things? So, but it's always very short-lived. It doesn't go deeper than that. May get into what I do for work, stuff like that. But for the most part, everything is very, on the surface level, short-lived. It's hard to build real long-term relationships out here, or friendships. Also, because even the people that move here, they're consistently moving from place to place. They might be 3 months over here, and then 6 months over here, and then they might be a year at this place or something. But in the space that I have my neighbors, they live here, but I've had 3 different neighbors in that time period of me being here. But they all live here. They just moving from place to place. So that's a whole nother thing. Like the span of relationships are very, very short. They've been minimized very much, just due to the nature of the island. And sometimes when you coming from like a big city, or you just coming from any city, mostly where, you might know your neighbor 10, 12, 15 years. I know when I was a kid, I grew up with my neighbor for 12 years, something like that. And then as I got older, there's places I lived 3, 4, 5 years, and our neighbors was right there with us. So that's one thing that I consider the disadvantage, is consistently having to reintroduce myself. Most of the relationships here are built under a party tent, not under anything of like substance, like work, or kids, or business, anything of that nature that might have some substantive hold or substantive glue to make the relationship want to last longer or speak longer. Most of the people that you meet down here are under a party tent. It's under a party pretense, unless they're locals. Now, you definitely build relationships with the locals. That works a little different. You also got to deal with the language barrier and that, but you do still build good relationships with the locals. That's one thing that I've been blessed to experience, is to build good relationships with the locals. And those are more long-term because they're living here, right? They're living here. But if you're looking for those American, like other people who've moved down here from America, if you're looking for those long-term relationships to be built, it's a bit harder due to everyone always consistently moving. So that's just one disadvantage that you have if you move to Puerto Rico from here and become a resident. Depending on how you're going to go about things, your relationships could be very short-lived, very surface level, and you find yourself continuously re-explaining yourself, reintroducing yourself. All right, so I know I find myself, hiding back some days because I don't want to do that, but it's cool. It comes with the program, and plus I got the YouTube, so I take what comes with the territory, so I don't mind, going through it. But I do notice that as a thing, and everybody may not be prepared for that. All right, so number 2. Now, this is more so educational thing, but also for people who are more into politics or the political scope of where they're living. There are some people who are more into politics than others. So I think that this is a big point that people need to know. One disadvantage that you may be used to from the States when you come to Puerto Rico, once you become a resident, you do not have the ability to vote for the president any longer. Here, Puerto Rico, the island of Puerto Rico, although it is owned by the United States, it is United States territory, it is not a state. So they do not get to vote for who they would like to see in the presidential seat. But they do have to follow the rules that are given out by whoever's in the presidential seat. That's why it's a big conversation about colonialism, still feeling like slavery, and a lot of different conversations that they don't get a fair shake on it. But yeah, the highest seat that they can vote for politically here in Puerto Rico is the governor. And that's been a big battle for the past 60 years. One party has essentially ran the governor's seat out here in Puerto Rico, and this past election, 2 parties came together and formed the Green Party, the Alliance, and they had a pretty good run for it. They did not win, but they came close, and that gave a lot of hope for the future for the Puerto Ricans who do support the alliance of the combination of those 2 parties. So next election, we'll probably see what happens. It's 4 years from now, but we'll see what happens. I'm interested, and I'm hoping to be here to see what happens. There was a lot of rallies out here, a lot of conventions, all pretty much the same stuff that goes on in the States, but it was for the governor's seat. Again, they cannot vote for the United States president, even though they are pretty much an own territory of the United States and follow United States rules. And then when you come into Puerto Rico, you will see an Americanized side on the tourist side. There's a lot of people out here who speak English, so you got a very American feel here in some places. But that's just a disadvantage of it, especially if you are very much into politics. That is something that you need to know, that once you become a resident here, there is no voting for the United States president. The highest seat you'll be voting for is the governor on down. All right. So what was the first one? So that's 2 disadvantages I think I had. So 1, social construct, everything being short-lived, everything being kind of, for the moment. I know you for 4 or 5 days, and then we don't speak again. It just kind of comes with it, man. You get used to it, but it is a disadvantage. I do kind of sometimes miss the long-term camaraderies of neighbors and long-term relationships with people, because everybody's moving around here. Nobody's really sticking in one spot, especially if they're American moving down to the island. And I'm more in the metro area where that's most of them are moving to. So yeah, that was that. And then number 2, politically, if you are very much into politics, the second disadvantage, you will no longer be able to vote for the president. You will be voting for the governor. And then the third disadvantage that I believe Puerto Rico has is dealing with transferring all of your stuff that you have in the States down here. Mostly the banking systems for me. That's been a big deal for me. They don't have American banking systems here, so you have to understand that Puerto Rico is its own country. So they have their own banking systems, such as Banco Popular, First Bank, Oriental, things of that nature, PenFed. They do have their own banking system, so you don't have Chase down here, you don't have Wells Fargo, you don't have PNC, you don't have Bank of America, you don't have these physical locations where you can go deposit money. They don't even have those ATMs down here. So, you know, that is the biggest thing, is not being able to have easy access to your banking systems from the States. You have to be able to want to transfer all that down into the Puerto Rican banking systems. And it's not that their banking systems is bad. It's just when you've been used to doing things in the States with certain banking brands for so long, learning the new banking systems and banking brands. Like down here, so most people don't know, down here, you can't sign up for Cash App. And they don't do Zelle down here either. They have something called ATH Mobile, ATH Mobile. That's their form of Zelle. But they don't, like, if I'm, because of the IP, I'm sorry, what am I trying to say? Cash App is an American thing, right? You can open a Cash App in America and come down here and use it, and it'll work. But after a certain amount of time, your Cash App, if you're living out here, like this happened to me, my Cash App got shut down because Cash App does not work in other countries. It can be used for an extended period of time, but technically it's not supposed to be any other country long term. At that point, they start to think you're a scammer or somebody's got a hold of your account, because you can't physically bring up Cash App out here. If you try to bring up Cash App out here through an IP address and sign up, it's going to say Cash App is not available in your country, because Cash App is not available to be signed up in Puerto Rico. But if you come from the States, you can use your Cash App while you're down here because you're a short trip, 4 or 5 days, no big deal. But that Zelle, they don't have Zelle down here with their banking systems. It's all ATH Mobile. So the Zelle, so essentially you're gonna have to move all of your money into the Puerto Rican banking systems and start signing up with their stuff. But that also requires you to go get your IDs changed, do all that. So you're gonna have to fully transfer, which sometimes becomes a bit difficult depending on where your business was started. Let's say you have an LLC and it was started in maybe the state you were living in, and you're banking all your money and everything is like that. There's just a little different thing that you got to do. But yeah, and you can do it. Let me say you can do it and get everything smooth like that. But you know, that is just an immediate disadvantage that I say right off the top. If from somebody moving from the States, it's not going to be a disadvantage probably for some people who live here, because you know they live here. But for us, it's just more, I don't even want to say a disadvantage, I'd say more an inconvenience. You know what I'm saying? But once you get it done, sorry guys for that brief interruption. I guess I could say another disadvantage is the heat, because Lord, it is hot out here. But I'm from Texas, it's hot there too. But what happened was my phone got too hot, because I'm sitting out here recording. It's hot out here right now, and they said my phone couldn't record no more until my phone cools down. So my phone had to take a break. So I'm back. So if you want to say a disadvantage is the heat, if you coming from one of them cold places, please be ready for this heat. Now, this heat is, remember they said you close to the equator. I'm an 80s baby, 90s baby, 80s, 90s baby. When we was growing up, they used to have a little term called, oh, you getting close, you dark because you live close to the equator. We closer to the equator down here. It's hot. It's hot. I ain't gonna lie to you. It's hot. I'm dealing, I'm cooling, you know what I'm saying? It's so hot, it's dyed my hair. People be thinking that I dyed my hair, like with hair dye. I've never dyed my hair a day in my life. I'm not really that type of guy. As you can probably see, sometimes I'm rough around the edges. I do get shaped up, cleaned up sometimes. But for the most part, I'm a man's man, rough around the edges. But my hair got dyed out here in Puerto Rico. So this is all natural. I've never put my hair in the sink or put anything in my hair. So this is actually my real hair color once the sun gets direct contact with it for long extended period of time. So I think that's pretty cool, a little fancy. But All right, guys, those are my 3 disadvantages living in Puerto Rico with a plus one. I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Like, subscribe, comment, go check out the past content, and I'll catch y'all next video. All right, peace.